And I think with that, we are finally ready to start session one of what is it called, Spief?
Uh, Legends of Regio Decima.
Of that.
Hell yeah!
Is that a Pokemon?
Yeah,
Dude, it's a new
it's a
legendary.
new.
I called it.
It's one of the new Reggies.
What? It's the fairy Reggie that we've all been asking.
Who's been
Oh, just
asking
to
for
clarify,
that?
we are doing this with push to talk, yes?
As
I
far as
pushed to
I'm,
mute, but like same.
yeah,
You know?
push to mute, I think was it,
Yeah.
or push to talk, whichever works better for you. Just that way, so you can communicate with chat and you're in your
Yeah.
own way, but it's not
Alright,
taking away of
there we go.
D&D itself.
Just don't chat with chat on the live.
Yeah, respectfully.
There we go.
Discord push to mute. How do I do this?
There we go. Now I'm live again.
Find-
Now that we're live,
Congrats.
and people can hear me talk.
Oh
We can hear
no,
you. That's the important
unfortunate.
part. But
I'm glad nobody can hear me talk.
we will go ahead and begin. Opening on Ravnica within the 10th district. As the denizens of Ravnica go about their daily lives, the sun rising on this massive, endless city of legend. People coming in from their busy nights, out boisterously partying, or working the night away in some of the many precincts within this endless city. The harsh whizzing of biomechanical machines from the 5th precinct all the way to the nature-filled bounties of the 3rd precinct. The quiet meadows, the welcoming lush havens tended to by various creatures of all kinds. And down to the scrupulous and, we'll say, less than welcoming alleyways of some of the lower districts, or some of the lower precincts, like that of Precinct 6, and others that are known to be populated by Demir entities or used in Demir uh, meetings. But we will go ahead and zoom in, harsh zoom expand on a certain meeting taking place this fine morning in Precinct 1 as our motley group finds themselves called together by an unnamed individual who has asked you all to meet within the Trans Guild Promenade, a specific row or a specific essentially highway through all of the precincts that offers a safe space between all of the different guilds within Ravnica. Nothing takes place here that would break the guild pact, as it were. No aggressive action would be taken between guilds within the Trans Guild Promenade. So it makes for a fine meeting ground, and there are um in this specific section there are rooms that are set aside kind of to encourage that at least the veneer of multi-guild cooperation. So at this point, all of you find yourselves within Precinct 1. Um, you are called here via a letter that you've all received within your different, either it was given to you in the midst of work or it was delivered to your place of rest or your home, wherever that may be. But you find yourselves about an hour away from the Chamber of the Guild Pact, which is one of the more, for lack of a better term, sacred locations in Ravnica. Um, but just hammering in the cooperation of the guilds themselves. Um, with that, I think we'll go ahead and the meeting room itself is adorned with the multiple symbols of the guilds themselves. So you see the Watchful Eye of House Demir. You see the fist of, if I remember correctly, the Boros signet. But you do see the various signets of the guilds themselves are equally viewable on the walls. Nobody is preferred over the other. And it seems to be just a general meeting room. You have two long tables that are pressed together that could house about 10 people or seat about 10 people. But you all find yourselves alone except for each other. There is no extra person here, per se. The person that you're meeting has not arrived, seemingly. As we'll go around and everybody introduce themselves. I would say, fine. I'll say you get a map this time.
You know the map is available in the book. You could pull it up.
Yeah, I'm not.
Map.
No,
You're
I don't know actually.
That requires me to go digging through fantasy grounds, and that's a more terrifying adventure than this one.
God.
Fair.
But if you guys want to go around roundtable style, or I can just start. I'll do the teacher thing where I'm like, "All right, Alistair, it's your turn. Tell us a fun."
3, 2, 1, not it, not it.
I mean, we could
God.
roll for initiative.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, you know what? That's a fun idea.
That's
I
so
like
funny.
that one.
No,
That's so funny.
Alright.
I like that idea.
No.
Everybody roll me initiative, and who has to introduce themselves first?
God, I hope I roll
Oh,
one.
man.
I want to go first. Oh, let
No.
me get these guys off of here. I forgot I still had this people from session 0 on here.
Ooh.
Alrighty, Professor Faye
Frick!
Valentine is up first.
Deb Hadabahahwa. Oh. Oh, dearie me. Oh, I think I know some of you here. Is that Sniff? Sniff, is that you? Oh, you've gotten so much bigger. Oh, it's been forever since I saw you at in the little classroom. Oh, and the robot thing. I think I remember you. Everybody else here, not entirely sure who you are, so I'll do my best in introduction. I am Professor Faye Valentine. You can call me Professor. Let's see here. I am a member of the Is It Guild. Specifically, I work very well with machinery, mechanics. Specifically, guns seem to be my specialty. What else is there about me? Well,
That you're quite attractive. Hello, hi.
you look a lot like me. Let's see here. How many of you are fleshy? I know the robot doesn't seem to be. How many of you are fleshy, huh? I might
Uh,
require a bite here and there.
Please don't bite me.
By all means.
Faye, looking around at everybody else, your familiarity with Sniff, you know, at least the last time you had seen him, he was goblin through and through. With the Warforged, however, you're unsure if it'd really be a nutritious snack if you were to give him a bite, but you know, it's a little bit of acquired taste, maybe, if anything. I to nip it in the bud, Strackham, you are affected as if you were a regular humanoid by the normal healing slash health stealing abilities and such.
Yes, I am aware that I'm not immune to those things, just disease.
Gotcha.
Well, The only other thing I think that you should know is that I do teach, hence the professor in my name. Um, School children specifically, young ones. The troublemakers are my favorite ones to teach. And with that, that'll be it for me for now.
As Faye takes a seat back, um, looking over at the rest of you. Um, Blue, it is your turn.
Hi, I'm Blue. You can call me Mr. Blue. I am a healer from the Orzhov Syndicate. Um, Mr. Blue is a barn owl owlet with brown feathers, white speckles, and a white heart-shaped face. He wears loosely fitting, slightly dusty robes that befit his low station. I'm dying to see who sent us this letter. Uh, Hopefully, they do not make us wait too long. It's a
Uh,
pleasure to meet all of you.
Seemingly on cue, as you say that, Blue, you all hear the sound of clacking shoes, like almost as if they're high heeled, um, resonating through the hallway that leads up to this meeting room. And as it begins to grow louder, a elven individual enters the room, adorned in clothing and very fine clothing. It's of a nice uh a very nice make. It has little adornments here and there that kind of flair or add a bit of flair to the person's natural physique, making them appear more slender than they possibly are. Um as they walk into the room, you all do quickly notice the Azorius signet, um very pronounced in their lapel, or their collar, sorry. Uh it is a lapel, right? Like that little bit. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, okay. I thought I was wrong for a second. For some reason I was thinking
No,
suspenders,
you're
and I
right.
was like, what the fuck? No, and they come in with an air of superiority that is very quickly gives you like that sinking feeling of like, man, teacher just got here. That kind of like drop in, oh man. Um but as they do, they take a seat across from you, Professor Fay, and they sit very promptly. They have their legs crossed. It's a very androgynous
Is it
character.
me?
It is not Alistor. Alistor's twin did not walk in near.
Damn, because they sound attractive.
Um, to where you're unsure what they identify as. Um, but they look over at all of you, and for those of you that are standing, if anybody is standing. Well, no
My
need.
chair got taken. I'm technically on my knees.
Well, everybody.
I am my own chair.
I'm glad to see that everybody has found their way in here. I'm assuming you made pleasantries and introduced yourselves.
No.
Oh well, don't let me interrupt you then. And they kind of sit back and their arms crossed, like holding their shoulders or holding their elbows, just sitting there. And
Then, by all means, I am Alistair Lambrouge. I am a noble from another land, here on a mission to cure my vampirism. And I figured here would be the best spot. I am technically a member of the Boros Legionnaire, but I'm beginning to think that maybe faith in my problem is not the way to go about it. Seriously. Uh, um, well, I am an individual that likes to get things done with their hands, cleanly, and sometimes messily if it comes to it. Let's see, what else? What else?
As you say that, Alistair, the person leans in. Tell
Mhm.
me, is your affiliation with your guild, is that changing anytime soon, or are you actually staying with them?
Perhaps, perhaps. It's really wherever the wind blows me.
But you are still remaining with the guild nonetheless, correct?
Correct.
Okay, that is my only concern. Carry on.
Very well. Um, well, He stares blankly, like into their eyes, like there is no light bulb on at all for the moment. He is just.
Okay, I see this one is done. Whoever is next, and they'll look over at the rest of
My
you.
name is Alistair.
Yes, we understand. You can stop.
He kneels back down.
Who else has not introduced themselves? Professor, have you gone?
Oh, yes, I have.
Okay. What
Thank
about
you very much for inquiring.
Indeed. What about you, Bot? Have you gone?
No, I do not believe I have formally introduced myself. My name is Shrekam. I am an envoy class Warforged.
Very well. All right. Owl, for you, have you made your introductions?
Yes.
Yee.
Little Goblin, what about you?
Hey! Oh crap! Oh no!
Oh, don't forget me. Sniff gets up from the ground he was sitting on, begins to walk a bit closer to the table, trips and falls onto his face.
I.
Oh no.
Oh.
He gets up and dusts himself off, dusts his little smock off, and fixes his little chef hat. Hi everyone. I'm Sniff. Hello, Professor. Good to see you again. Um, I'm a military chef with the Legion. Um, I'm surprised I'd be called out of duty to be here. I'm just as confused as everyone else. I'm here to help in whatever way I can. My name is Sniff. Um, and then Sniff lowers his head and wipes his nose.
Um. Sniff, could you take a seat at the table, please?
Okay. He waddles over.
Okay. With that, everybody's introduced. We're not missing anyone. I don't believe we are on my end.
Yes. Hi, my name is Alistair.
Yes, we've gone over this.
Okay.
Is this?
I just want to make sure you know.
I do truly wish I didn't. Okay. And you see, they pull out of their uniform a scroll and they open it out. I would like to formally introduce myself as Overseer Romer. I am assigned to your group in accordance with Law 557 428B. And they kind of look at it a little more, reading through, etc., etc. I oversee your operations. I go through yada. Okay. They close the scroll. Getting down to brass tacks. I'm the one who's called you here today. I've been assigned to oversee all of your movements. The reason you are all here is because all of the guilds, barring certain outliers, have agreed to form a multi-guild task force in other words. It's not necessarily combat related. Azorius still maintains their level of control in that regard, but in order to foster and strengthen the guild's relationships, we've sought forth to create multiple groups that have hands in different guilds. Um, each of you all have exhibited. It shall look over at Alistair, or they'll look over at Alistair.
Alistair smiles proudly.
Have exhibited arguable dedication to your guilds, to the
He
point
shrugs.
where your names were thrown in the barrel for this group, for lack of a better term. Before anybody has any concerns, this does not get in the way of your own guild assignments, things of that nature. We're not asking you to prefer the other guilds over your own. We've had agreements from the Azorius Senate, the Boros Legion, from the Conclave, from the Izzet Guild. Uh, Demir didn't shut this idea down, so we can only assume they agree to it. Um, so we've gotten agreement from most everybody. Um, but do not feel pressured to throw your allegiance to another guild because of this. Any questions, any concerns before I continue? And they'll look over at everybody else, just kind of interested in any other. They're kind of like they want to hear your objections, but they kind of don't want to deal with them at the same time.
Yeah, question. Will we be compensated in addition to our regular salary for this?
Yes. Upon every week, you'll
Oh.
be sent approximately 15 gold via mail.
Oh,
The
that's
Azor,
good. That's good.
Ooh.
the Boros have dictated that that is an agreeable sum, and the Azorius have consigned to it. But that will be sent to you upon that, along with any additional reward for acts. What's the word? Acts performed. If you catch my
Like a performance bonus.
drift.
A play.
Yes. No.
Damn.
More so if you break up a fight that was happening, or a sought out a nefarious plot, you will be compensated in accordance with that as well, on top of your weekly.
So we're becoming glorified guardsmen?
Not necessarily. On top of this being done in the on top of this being done in order to foster inter-guild communication and camaraderie, this is being done because there are potential, and I would like to stress, potential inter-guild plots being conspired upon. Now, as most of you are Ravnica natives, I don't believe I need to explain what all that could mean, but for Alistair's sake, I think an explanation would be appreciated.
If you could sum it up as best you can in like as less words as possible, I would appreciate it for compensation or for comprehension.
They have to pay you to understand it. You're like going to military
Yes.
school training.
That came out of the wrong hole.
Amazing.
Whoopsie.
Oopsie doodles. Unless somebody else had another question, in which I'll
Yes.
answer Alistair's.
I have a question.
Yes, Sniff.
Has there been a mistake? I feel that my place here is a bit misplaced. I feel that there might be more qualified members of the Boros Legionnaires to represent in this.
Well, from my understanding of my higher ups, you've been chosen due to your supportive feature. You've given great support to the Boros Legion, and in turn, they hope to see your support for this motley crew that we have here.
So Alistair will kneel down and give him a nice whack on the back. Heroes come in all shapes and sizes, my friend. You need
Oh,
not worry.
all right. I'll
Oh,
do my best.
hero.
Now, pray tell, why would one of my students not be chosen for such a important task, Sniff?
You have a point there. You're always right, Professor.
Well, getting back to Alistor, um,
Is Sniff like an old goblin or just like a
No, I
small
think
goblin?
I think I might have taken the wind out of his sail.
Or is he just
Yeah,
pitiful
he's just
or is he
small.
old?
he's just pitiful.
Oh,
He's
Oh
relatively
boy.
young.
Poor
okay.
Yeah.
boy.
Fair.
um, well, Alistor being the odd one out, um,
I love
there
being out.
there are certain plots that take place within the guild, some things that can happen between. Okay,
So no different than family bloodlines that in my where I come from other noble families conspiring against one another.
Essentially, yes. There could be the Golgari are planning to try and do something to upset the balance that Alton guilds have. You have the Selesnias are getting overzealous with trying to reclaim the woods or whatever it is they do. The Demir are plotting a secret pact beneath and trying to undermine another guild's power, things like that. It's come to Azorius's attention that there may be more of those going on than they really can see. And so we're putting together teams that would not draw attention from normal people, I guess is the best way to describe it. Think of it as you're an undercover group, but you're
Yes.
publicly known, at least as publicly as
This
people pay attention.
I feel like
this
we are the least of suspicious people here.
Well, we have a goblin cook, we have a supportive warforged, we have an owlin that's cute. I mean, has a cute appearance, and then we have two Dampier, one of which has given much service in her teachings, and you.
Yeah, yes, like one of my stories I would used to read when I was a child.
and this is post Jace as the Living Guild timeline, yeah.
Correct. This is post Jace, pre War of the Spark.
You
And
said
the really
words.
cool thing is, despite the fact that we're all at like kind of at odds with each other, we're all magically bound to never destroy the other. So we just piss each other off a whole bunch until there's a big fight, and then we kind of get over it.
Indeed. We can never truly destroy one another. We have to live in solidarity.
Just like real life.
Uh-huh. We love it here. It's
Um,
great.
for those that aren't familiar with Ravnica, at least to the extent that I am, Ravnica is bound by what is called the Guild Pact, or right now it is the Living Guild Pact, because the old one was destroyed by um all of the guilds essentially screwing up really hard, from my understanding.
Yeah.
But the Living Guild Pact, Jace is literally a person that embodies the Guild Pact, and what they say is a legally binding agreement. In which right now it's still the Guild Pact still maintains the civility of all the guilds, that they will not usurp one another, nor will they attempt to overtake the other guilds in a bid for superiority.
All it
So
will take is just,
This is
one little poke in the right direction. I mean, I remember when a rival family tarred and egged my favorite slippers, a declaration of war immediately.
this is also in like what's the word I'm looking for? Like out in public, like viewable way.
Mm-hmm.
Because none of us truly understand the terms of the guild pact as represented in Jace, we're all still kind of trying to figure out what we can get away with.
Yeah, and that kind of mingling in her, like, the all the guilds still have their own, under the surface kind of bids that they're trying to do for power, because of course they're not satisfied with what they've got. So the idea of plots going on beneath the surface to hinder the other guilds is not uncommon, nor is it really surprising for those of you that have been in Ravnica for too long, because some of you have seen things come to fruition. You've seen plots go awry, you've seen plots go successfully and deal pretty significant blows to other guilds in terms of possibly coming to light some unscrupulous dealings or embarrassing them in some way, shape, or form. The various things you would see when one tries to topple a large power like the guilds here. It's not necessarily all might, it's a combination of might, politics, and the ever pleasant
Believing in
plot.
God.
Yeah. When you
One
can't
of them.
fight
Since
a legitimate war, right? You're just it's all about the court of public opinion.
Yep. And that is
since one court can't, since one guild can't strike down the other, they have to resort to a war of 1,000 cuts.
essentially
Yeah.
Flaming them on social media.
Yeah, they
Correct.
actually they
Just gotta
the Golgari
the
swarm
cancel
got
culture
the
the guilds
Golgari.
out of existence.
Yeah, dude, Golgari actually got ratioed on Twitter. It was pretty bad.
That's crazy.
Dude, being in that guild is cringe.
What was the incident at your chamber of the Guild Pact? Plus ratio.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
They banned me on Twitter.com. I can't believe it.
Now I have to take out full page ads in the paper if I want anybody to see.
If I want people to see my posts, it's just a screen cap of a Twitter post just on like somebody's newspaper at that point. But it's like
the picture of Eon Mustard giving you the
my
finger.
This 76-year-old tavern still makes their grog the old-fashioned way.
and they still pay.
Excellent.
I'd follow them.
And they still pay their employees the way they did 76 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh no, never mind.
Oh man.
All right, Mr. Overseer, Mrs. Person, honorific overseer.
Careful, don't assume their gender. They'll cancel
I
you.
didn't.
We were just talking about this. No.
So what? So we're gonna go around and we're gonna be good Samaritans, and when Daddy calls, we still have to go into work, and that's the deal. And we get 15 extra gold a week, and that's cool.
Yes and no. So
Daddy doesn't know I'm here.
we will send you to assignments on the irregular, as opposed to having you act as a. You won't be acting as a unit all the time. You would still go to work as is, do your duties as you have always done, but at the same time, we will call upon you when it is needed, and you will also represent us. You will represent your guilds when dealing in various matters. Speaking of, I do have a specific matter for the five of you. Once we get done with the questions and everything here.
Already? Isn't that a little fast?
Well, once again, this has been in the plan for a while now, and we've got multiple leads that we've had brewing beneath the surface, essentially, that we've denoted to you to handle.
I suppose I can find a short notice substitute. Very well.
If you would like,
So we're not gonna get our beaks boxed in for looking out for our own people.
No, you can.
All right.
I suggest that we rent out some very, very interesting spandex and some helmets to protect our identities.
Perhaps not.
No,
Shall we
no.
become the Power Rangers?
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I'm taking that.
No.
Dude, actually, that's a really good analogy because, like, in a lot of Rangers things, they're like, "We are the Power Rangers," and they're like, "That's cool," and they just don't care. Like, I think it's like Mystic Storm. They just like everyone's like, "Yeah, we're the Power Rangers," and everyone's like, "That's cool," but you know, you're still lame.
Okay, that's pretty based.
Yeah.
You're still nerds.
You're
Get out of
still
here.
nerds.
You wear colorful spandex. Ew.
Ew. Think of it like this: you're our secret weapon, but you're
Mm.
our publicly known secret.
Ah, I see.
We're we are very much expecting your expertise in various fields to come into play in helping us solve these various issues, and whether they lead to bigger and more dangerous or untoward plans, then we will see to it that you can solve those. It's I don't know how better to explain this, but I know my words aren't exactly helping in this endeavor either.
Alistair is imagining from your like we are both the battering ram, and then inside the battering ram that there is a dragon inside of it.
Yeah, usually you can cut out about every other word somebody from Azuria says, and that'll be about what they actually needed to
That'll be
say.
like the actual words they need to say.
Yeah.
So, in effect, we are a public deterrent to the discooperation of the guilds.
We're the vibe check group. Yeah.
Well, I would like to clarify. Blue says that out loud to this person.
For the vibe check or the
For the you could probably speak half as much.
Uh-oh.
I will
It's
not
fine.
dignify that with response.
That's fine.
For the
Damn.
rest of you that's keen to take this seriously, as I would recommend you do, this will also ensure the safety of your own guilds as well. If your guild happens to be the target of one of these, then you would be doing your own guild a service. I don't think I need to explain to you why that would be a good thing.
I'm glad we got there
Nods.
eventually.
Nods.
No. As of this moment, we've been told of some murmurings with the Gilgari swarm, potentially them trying to push back against the Selesnians and a bit of a dispute between precincts. As you know, the precincts don't have a hard line, but some guilds try to push it harder than others. And at the moment, the as they talk, they produce a large map, which is the map that you can see here with all the districts kind of or all the precincts put together just for ease of use for everybody.
I thought they had a trainway. That's a river.
There are trains.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, most of them go.
Damn.
Most of them go to the Izits in the Simics.
Is it's in the what's it's?
All right, now let's see if I know. What? Nope. 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 Don't draw. Wow, you really can't see that.
Oh, are you drawing on the map right now?
I'm putting a pointer in there because he's pointing at this location. To the left of East Haven, which is in between the third precinct and the fourth precinct. I don't know if you can see the
Yes, we can
Yeah, I
I-
see the
on
arrow.
the map.
yeah.
Oh, I do not.
Are you looking at the right spot?
It's going to be towards the top of the full Ravnica map
Yep.
page.
It's right under the Trans Guild Promenade.
Yep. They point at this spot on the map. At this point, there was apparently a battle that took place, and the Golgari are currently trying to accost the Selesnians that are trying to reclaim their fallen, and it is currently a heated space, for lack of a better term. It's not a battlefield at the moment, but tensions are high, and neither side is looking for a peaceful option, for lack of a better
So
term.
you need us to go play diplomat.
Essentially,
Something finally I was trained for.
I do not believe the words that you speak.
I am, in fact, a noble.
I am surprised that you can read, let alone produce any sort of diplomacy.
Insane call out.
Man, I produce a lot of things, like these hands. Wow,
Well,
that was
those
a real
hands are-
Alistair moment because I put up both my hands and I fucking muted myself.
good job.
Incredible.
These hands, hard cut.
Those
Record
hands
scratch.
can only do so much against a bullet, love.
Now, I would recommend not getting hostile here. We are still in the Transguild Promenade. You would
Hostility
like to
is
Not
the.
hostility. This is
I would hardly call it flirting.
Your idea of flirting is very much not mine. But if you could make your way to this location and convince both sides to some sort of terms, that would be most appreciated. Seeing as none of you are part of the Golgari or the Selesnians, acting as a third party may work in your interest or it may not. I'm unsure of how they will take to a third party coming in and trying to solve their problems, but
In my experience, that never goes well, but
well, we would like to try and see if this is going to work. See this as a trial run of how you all can cooperate and solve a problem.
Alistair is trying to have a recap of why they are beefing because Alistair has forgotten.
If you are successful in this, then each of you will be given 15 additional gold along with your weekly pay. At least that is the reward that's been requisitioned for this specific incident. Any agreements that you make between the Golgari and the Selesnians are yours. Unless you have express permission from your own guild, you cannot speak for them. I don't think I need to tell you. For those of you that work in your guilds and act on their behalf. So, for example, you cannot speak for the Azorius Senate. We will not fulfill a specific promise unless it's already been brought up beforehand.
I can assure you, I will always act for myself.
You seem to act very full of yourself. I don't know if you act for yourself. Is there any other questions?
I was serious. I actually don't remember.
Oh my god.
Oh my
I'm
god.
so sorry. I like it went in one ear and then it just kind of like fell. It just kind of like hit the side of my face and fell off.
No, you're good. That's also what happened to me with the name of the character because I forgot the name I said and I didn't write it down like an idiot.
Hey,
Oh.
time to scroll back through the VOD until we
Literally,
find it.
I'm literally gonna go through the VOD and go like, what the fuck did I call myself again?
What the character?
Yeah, of the overseer person.
The overseer Romair, Romair,
ROMAIR.
Romair.
Romari.
No way, no way, it was Romari.
ROMAIMA. Oh wait, my bad. I yeah, I didn't hear.
No way, I didn't spell it that close.
This is going to be
Damn.
a continuous trend because my own note taking is atrocious.
Yes,
I feel
so
that.
NPCs are going to spontaneously change names slightly.
That happened
Yeah.
in our Strixhaven campaign. The vampire guy changed his name like twice, I think, because I said a name, forgot, and then we called him another name, and then we forgot that one too.
A
Oh
good
my
DM is
God.
always surprised when the players make their own ending, and then you're like, "Yes, I called that shit."
Literally,
I'm
dude,
generally
I
a
saw
serial
it.
note taker.
Hey,
So-
somebody's got to be.
I
We
have a
might be
meme
able
for
to
that I
share
need to
all of
send you
our
later.
notes. I don't know.
Yeah, we could put like a Google Doc together with all of our
Oh
notes.
no, you can. There's a notes tab under players, and you can make notes
Ah.
about things, and then you can share them,
Yep, you can make it
or you
public
can
to
choose
see.
to not share them,
Oh,
so everybody can see it.
I see.
Except you will have to decipher
Thank
my
you.
cryptic descriptions.
Will lead to bigger. I like the way it's written. Is will lead to bigger and more dangerous plans. Makes it sound like that Romer is specifically planning to overtake the guild.
Who knows? Who
Who
knows?
knows?
Joke's on you. It was there all along.
The new Don,
Oh man,
Don Romero.
Don. It's me, Ganondorf. I was here all along.
Warf.
Well, we need to head out now, I'm assuming.
I suppose.
If you have no
Very
further
well.
Seems to be the
questions,
case.
then if you have no further questions, the door is there. However, I will give you, Professor, and Romer will take a stone out of their cloak and hand it to you. The stone itself is in the shape of an
Is in the shape of a what?
Ear?
ear.
Okay.
Okay.
This is a sending stone. When I have need of you, or if you have need of me, you can use it to send me a message. But it is only one per day, so do make it important.
Sending stones don't exist in the game files. Why?
What?
Sending stones don't exist. They just exist because people need them to,
I got
or
you.
want them to.
Do
There you go.
kidney stones
Oh,
exist?
I found it.
There you go.
I suppose you
Yes,
could
I'm-
get kidney stones.
That's okay. So
Oh my
that's
God.
something I've always
with the
wondered.
debuff kidney stone.
That's something I've always wondered in like a D&D-esque setting is like, you know when you just wake up and you're just like in genuine pain, but it's like your body's just giving up on you. Like, is that ever a problem in D&D or
Yeah, it's called
No.
disadvantage, man.
Yeah.
no, that's exhaustion.
Suffer the
They just say his
disadvantage of
tumors
kidney
are
stone.
unbalanced.
I will happily take the sending stone and turn on my heel before absent-mindedly starting to wander on towards the door.
I assume that there's some amount of once you receive enough magical healing as an adventurer, your body just no longer degrades.
Well, you
Yeah.
just turn into
become
dust anyway.
immortal.
You return to the magic.
Not every day you get 1 year older at that point.
I
Mm.
hope when Alistair dies, he turns into magic and becomes somebody's fireball.
Return to the great mana stream.
Like literally. Oh, what is it that? Oh, what isn't that like the thing in Final Fantasy VII?
The live stream.
Yeah.
Yes,
Is the
yeah,
life
there we go. Yeah.
I'll return to the great life stream. Come back is whatever it is. But
Cloud, I'm going to the great live stream.
I'm going to the live stream.
Aerith, no!
You
She got
can't.
killed by pyrotechnical.
No, you can't go to Pyrocynical. But Cloud, I must.
Are we going, guys?
Uh,
Assuming
slowly
was-
marches in the direction of door.
Oh, I was already. I thought we established I was always going to be following you. So
We should follow her. We should follow them.
I need to develop a list of offhanded slurs for each of the guilds.
Okay. I'm
Oh,
I'm very glad that
I had no
guilds-
idea where that was going.
yeah, I thought you were going to for us, but I was like, hey, I already got one for you. The trans,
Damn, that's
the trans
crazy.
pomegranate.
You're an owl, right?
Yeah.
Call me a knife ear and I'm gonna fucking punt you.
No. Racism is not okay. But you choose who you're affiliated with.
Like
You
he-
make a choice
No,
about
he-
which guild you're affiliated with.
he just
Femboy Hooters down there.
this dude just goes, I need to make a list of slurs. And that's where the sentence ends, and it's just intense panic.
Just,
This is how he's gonna
Intense
solve the
silence.
problem.
TM.
He's just gonna
So much
say
silence.
crazy. He's gonna like call them slurs at each other and say that they're from the same guild, and then it turns internal.
Man, why did
He
episode 1
just
never come out?
cast vicious mockery at the enemy, and it's just a string of slurs.
God, dude.
Alistair cast vicious mockery.
I wish to cast Vicious
Okay.
Mockery. Why is it all just bleep sounds?
As supposed to be on our way.
All very fun. We do need to kind of stick
Mm-hmm.
very off topic.
Isn't that the point of D&D though?
It's a little bit. Alrighty. As you guys each walk out, going in turn after the professor, you exit out into the Transguild Promenade where multiple people are walking past you. Various large beasts of burden are taking what seem to be goods, pulling equipment with them. Various carts go past you as people utilize this mode of transportation to get from one district to the other. There are large attached to the Transguild promenades. I know it's hard to see in the picture, but there is like an archway above it, and at the very top is like a shuttle system that's attached to it. So if you guys have the coin or need the urgency, there are various stops on the Transguild promenade that will that essentially work as a shuttle service that is created and maintained by the
Fast
Is It
travel
Guild.
unlocked.
Essentially, yes. So if you guys would like to get onto the shuttle service, it is going to be 1 silver piece for each of you. It's not that cheap. By the way, I work off of 100 to 1, so 100 copper is 1 silver, 100 silver is 1 gold, 100 gold is 1 platinum.
I will pay for us all.
How
How rich.
kind.
Very
Thank
well,
you.
if that is what you
Mm.
wish.
Of
I
course.
suppose I shall allow it.
I don't know the word, but it sounds very tsundere.
So using the shuttle service, it'll take you guys about 20 minutes or so to get there, as opposed to like the possible hour to 2 hours to walk there. Ugh. Sorry, I'm sneezing. Ugh.
Gesundheit.
So 20 minutes go by, and going across the top of the railing gives you guys an opportunity to see um Ravnica in a bit of a better light. It's the same view that one would see on top of some of the large walls in between the precincts. So you're able to look down upon the busy streets within Precinct 1 going into Precinct 4. Within Precinct 1, you see a much cleaner, um, relatively busy cityscape. The winding streets kind of um, surrounded by the as tall buildings. Think of it kind of like the New York cityscape in a way. Just lots of buildings kind of crammed together with various goods. You've got shops between houses and homes and like apartment buildings and other larger establishments that have their own buildings to themselves that are all pockmarked by the walkways going in between all of them. However, when you guys move over into Precinct 4, um, it's a much more sparsely decorated, or a more sparsely maintained area. Going up towards Sunhome, it's a couple of the buildings around that mainly have what seem to be homes, and they seem to be not well maintained. But going past Sunhome, up towards um the where you guys need to go, you can very easily see the ruin and destruction of the extent of the Red Wastes, where you guys know is where the Gruul clans typically make their homes. And this part of Precinct 1, or Precinct 4, sorry, is typically besieged by raids, if not just casual invasions by the clans, and sometimes by the cult of Rakdos whenever they decide to bring their intensely demented carnival fair and their performances into this area. Um, though you guys do get off in the Transguild Promenade, which remains starkly untouched in comparison. But exiting, you do come and um, exit between what looked to be a large, almost like chateau-esque structure, but which is now in ruins with debris and piles of rubble kind of strewn about all over the place to your left, with the high walls of still some encampments of or not encampments, sorry, of the high walls of the city structure still standing to your right.
Oh, there it is. Oh my god, it's
You finally found it.
Dear True Transguild Promenades. I was looking all over that purple thing, like, where the hell?
Yeah.
That's
The
why I said
Transguild Promenade is that entire like section of road that goes from the bottom of the map up through Precinct 1 and then off out of Precinct 4.
Yeah, the
Transguild
Transguild
Pomegranate.
Promenade acts as, like I said, it acts as a safe area for all the different guilds, but it also acts as a marker for the ley lines of Ravnica, which is a little less known by most people, but I don't think would be out of the realm of knowledge for you guys because you've been around for the most part. Alistair probably wouldn't know because
I will accept this as fact that I will not know.
But as you guys make your way through, you do see remnants of the battle or of the altercation that Romer referred to. You see members of what you assume to be the Golgari swarm to come out, and the Golgari swarm name, it kind of brings to mind an insect like thing, but it's not necessarily the case. You do see various you do see goblins, you do see um what are the creature names? Oh, wish I had it off the top of my head, but it's an insect-like player race that kind of bring to mind like large mantises.
I was
Are a
gonna say
part of them.
bugbears, but I was like, no, that's not right.
No, definitely not
Ooh,
that.
the Mantis Men from Portal 2.
Oh wow. Um,
Hmm.
Portal 2. What?
Yeah. Cave Johnson in Portal 2
Oh,
accidentally made Mantis Men.
got it. Um,
From Kung Fu
Anyway.
Panda.
Are you talking about Simics? Simic hybrids?
no,
Yeah.
not the Simic hybrids.
Oh,
Not the
that
Simic
was it.
hybrids. It's in. They're from. They're from the the spaceship one.
Oh,
Oh, I'm
Yeah, I don't
dying.
know that one.
Yeah, I know. I'm dying. I'll think of it eventually. My brain's dying. Um, but you see various different races um coming together and getting and gathering their dead. You as you walk past them, they don't outright like they're not outright hostile to you, but they do like eye you as you walk by and just give off the air of wanting to be undisturbed. Um, and amidst the corpses, you do see this far away. You see very few, but you do see them. Um, Corpses of half elves and what seem to be wood elves kind of scattered across. You even see some uh a satyr or two and other forest beings that you would associate with the Selesnya conclave. Um you see those as opposed to the ones by there being claimed by the Golgari swarm. Um you see those corpses are kind of just being dragged and like tossed into piles and not being messed with right now, but you see they are collecting them for some purpose at this point.
Any former students?
Um, you don't recognize anybody really off the bat. Um, but you would need a bit more if you were to like actually go and examine them. You just need to get a bit closer, but nothing from this distance. You don't recognize any of the bodies of former students of yours.
Alistair has a
What
pit
a
in
loss.
uh, uh, has a pit in his stomach, looking around at all of the broken architecture, and all the body is just a deep sad.
You get used to it, seeing this kind of stuff in the Legion.
Still doesn't make it right. I'm at such beautiful architecture just lost, lives lost for what, a disagreement.
Hmm.
As unfortunate as it is, it does seem well, not to be cliche, but it is what it is. It is life. Everyone goes at some point, for the most part.
Yes.
Um, Moving
So
closer.
here's a question for you, DM.
Yes.
How are we speaking? How are we ruling vampirism? Um,
I was gonna say yes. How ironic for the immortals to say that. Yes, everyone has a time.
yeah, no, like, am I? There's a lot of blood around, right?
It is a there is a lot of blood soaking into the um cobblestone streets. You see streaks of blood across various areas, and you do see pools of blood just kind of all around you, even having to walk through some. As this was a battlefield at one point. So
So how are we going with thirst?
well, at the moment, I would imagine Alistor and Faye are at the very least well fed or at least satisfied, unless you would say otherwise.
Oh, I do not subsist off blood though, so
So what specifically, Alistair,
dreams.
what curbs your urge?
Well, subsisting off of dreams is what curbs the urge.
What?
He
There's
eats
the
dreams.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that one. Those words sounded really weird together. Okay.
Yeah. I understand. I'm a dream catcher basically.
Got
Ooh,
you.
ah.
As I said, you guys would both be well fed. However, if you were to go for more than a day's time in a similar way to hunger, you would begin to have the urge to feed, and that urge could potentially turn and exert itself in other ways. So at this point,
Oh, Jay, what time of day is it?
it's currently morning. Is about 9:30 to 10.
But we're daywalkers. We should be fine. We're
Oh,
fine. We're
okay, we're
daywalkers.
good for now.
Wait, is something I don't know about Dampiers?
No, I drink every night.
Ah, drinking buddy. I see. Ah, good.
Yeah, no, you're good. It's literally like a 24-hour period. So,
Okay.
if you drank within a 24-hour period, you're good. However, if you don't, then you may start to get the craving, and in that point, we'll have to start making like wisdom or constitution saves to try not to, drink from your allies in that sense,
Uh,
or any other open sources around you.
in that case, they're going to pull out a little handkerchief from their breast pocket and just kind of cover their nose,
Alrighty.
looking down with a bit of disgust.
Ugh.
I thought you were gonna do something else, and I was gonna be like,
Oh, they just soak
it's
it.
like it soaks her her napkin in the blood and saves it for later.
That would
It's a flavor saver.
A little
they
bit,
just go
brother,
down.
brother,
They just go down, just dunking it in the blood. And it's like that's for them. That's for later. Just tucking it back in their in their jacket pocket. That would be awful.
That like
Um, as,
I'm sorry.
that's cursed thoughts.
as,
Sorry.
as you guys walk past the various members of the Golgari, you do notice that with their own dead, they have like what looks to be like a paste that they're smearing across the bodies. It's somewhat clear, but it also has like a sheen to it that they just go across, and they kind of somewhat respectfully just start coating across the exposed parts of the bodies.
I'm raising my hand like you can see it. Can I make a check to see if I know what that is?
Yeah, go ahead and make me a nature check.
Ooh, that's a good question. I should see. Which page of the character sheet would tell you which knowledge skills you? Oh, it's
That'll-
just in skills. Okay.
Yep. And then you drag the dice from there and drag it into the thing.
Oh, that's actually a bonus.
Yeah,
It is worth investigating.
I don't think anybody else has Srackham.
I'm better than the robot.
Srackham, you're not familiar. That knowledge is not currently in your database that you can recall.
How interesting.
Alistair, the most you can gather is that it is some sort of possibly embalming fluid or some sort of fluid used post mortem, but you don't recall seeing that ever used on like living people
Oh,
at
that's
the
not
very
what it
It's
least.
was.
definitely not something I'd be familiar with from at least where I'm from.
No, it's yeah, it was for potentially if you could deduce what it was based on its appearance and viscosity and
Th-
such. It's
That's a
also
fun
not
word.
just being used on bodies. You see limbs being taken, and like you see a stray arm that they lather the stuff onto, and like a leg is hopped on there. That they're coating the stuff with. Um, you do notice that one
Hmm.
of you see what look to be like not stray dogs, but like I'm trying to think of how to describe it. Like I guess warhounds, like back in the day when like the Spartans had dogs that they used for war purposes or they used them in battles. You see those kinds of hounds currently gnawing on the limbs of the corpses put in the piles that are of the Selesnya conclave, kind of being treated with the less respect, I guess is the better way to put it, by these guys.
Are is there anybody that looks important around us right now?
There is a um actually there is a Simic that is, and for those that don't know what a Simic is, um this one is a blue skinned person that has adaptations to or alterations to their arms. They are very large, like biomechanical, um almost like gorilla arms to an extent, but like they're just bulked out with like metal and such.
Cyberpunk.
Sorry. Um yeah, kind of sorta. Um
Okay.
but
Okay.
you do see them, they're like pointing out where to take the bodies and everything, and they're um actually they're saying words. I will see if anybody can understand.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Is currently speaking in a language that none of you guys can understand apparently, which is really funny to realize.
It looks
Um,
like they had a stroke. Are they okay?
but they do seem to be to you, Faye. They seem to be barking orders to the others, and that their motions of where to take things is being acknowledged.
Walk on up to him. Excuse me, sir.
He'll turn to you. It's seemingly a male with a very lean figure, a very gaunt looking face. He looks like he hasn't eaten in a couple centuries at the very least. Um, and he'll put his across his large beefy arms in front of him. Yes.
Hello. Uh, my colleagues and I are here to try to talk to some important people. You seemed to be rather important yourself, so I was hoping that you might be able to help me find other also important people.
I'm important to the body grabbing. That's about all I'm important for.
Well, perhaps you could point me in the direction of someone who I don't want to say more important. That seems very rude. But I'm sorry, I don't have a better way to say it.
He'll kind of look you up and down. What are you here for exactly? Intruding on Golgari business.
Oh, well, you see, I was sent here to try to help this conflict a little bit. Big ass grin. Big grin.
I'm not thinking we need much help. And you see he has on one arm he has the is it symbol tattooed on him, but then it's kind of marked out, but it's still visible. And on the other arm he has the Golgari symbol on him.
Is this a student?
Surely, though, something must be done, though. This doesn't look like a situation under control.
Okay. Um what are you doing, Blue? Are you casting something?
No, I just pressed the wrong button.
Okay,
I was
just
trying
making
to
sure.
read the description.
Faye. This person does, thinking back, a lot of the Simics kind of bleed together, but you're fairly confident that this one was a student, and you recall them in like a classroom of students, like that kind of looked all similar. So thinking back, you think it's either a clone of somebody, or it's like of that thing of like a mass breeding thing of them, kind of like the stormtroopers from Star Wars in a sense, where it was just like a
Mhm.
mass cloning thing, but they're all still technically unique in their ways. But you're fairly confident you remember this person, but a name doesn't come to mind.
Excuse me, did you ever spend any amount of time in school?
Yeah, they forced
Mm.
us all to go into the schools when I was younger. I just remember
Ah!
coming out and then going into those places.
That's why I recognized you, dear boy.
I don't recognize you much there, person.
Ah, well, that means that you were probably a good student. It means you didn't have to spend much time in the dean's office.
But look, Professor, I don't know what you were told, but our situation's pretty much done. We just need to get the rest of these bodies, and then the Golgari will do what we do best with them.
Well, that's the thing. We've been told that you aren't being very kind to the other side of this conflict, and you're not letting them take their bodies.
I'm talking about those things, and he points a large finger over towards the just mound of Selesnians that's over there.
Ah, yes, those.
Alistair perks up an ear.
Yeah, I wasn't told to put them anywhere specific, so I'm just putting them in a pile. We ain't moving them anywhere as far as I'm aware.
Alistair straightens his shirt.
Would
Well, go
I'm
ahead, sorry.
I imagine Alistair interrupts Faye. It's just a hard neck cracking sound as she like whips over to him. Oh,
Is it perhaps a manpower issue that you were experiencing to why you can move the bodies to their proper place?
he'll turn to Alistair and his arms will uncross and he will just loudly crack his fingers, which to you guys sounds like somebody's bones snapping. Are you calling me?
No, I was just, trying. I can't speak now. Was merely trying to offer a hand, to keep things going along. That's all. You seem very preoccupied with your side, so why don't we take care of the other?
Look, if you're trying to meddle with all of this stuff with the bodies, then you ought to go talk to Veneer.
Ah, I see.
Very
Where
well.
might we find this veneer?
Veneer is on closer to where the battle actually started. And he points over at the wall that geolocating on the map. He's pointing at the wall like to where Romer was referring to as well. And you see on that side a massive hole has been blown open, and you can somewhat hear like shouts coming from there, but only just like right, like you're on the cusp of being able to actually hear them now. And as he points it out, like kind of catches your ears. And that's Veneer's probably one of the ones shouting over there.
Oh, well, I do appreciate this, dear. They'll do a little bow before popping back up and just walking off towards where the shouting is. Just
Okay.
wandering off.
And he'll watch as you go away, and then we'll turn to Alistair, arms still kind of like held up, just like, you want to go, bro? Kind of look to him.
Alistair rubs his temples and accompanies the professor on their way.
Thrackham sniff blue.
Follow
Trickham
along.
is just observing quietly and formulating his own internal opinions.
All right, y'all following?
Sif's just been nervously looking around.
Keep
We should
smart.
probably follow them.
Professor, I meant you no ill will with interrupting you back there. I was only trying to help. Sorry about that.
It is perfectly fine. Let's just not make it a habit, huh?
Yes, I can do that.
Attaboy.
Excuse me? What? Okay.
Still just walking.
As you guys make your way forward, getting closer and closer to where the shouting is coming from, you see on a raised pile of rubble, is a drow who's
Ooh.
it's hard to make out from this side, but you see that his right ear has been docked, and you see on the exposed hand on his right is also seemingly covered in discolorations. It doesn't look like burns necessarily, but it seems like lighter skin milding with white. I don't know what the term is for that. But
It's a skin condition, right?
yeah,
He has Villaintigo.
I believe if that's what that's called, then
Vitiligo?
yes.
Vitiligo, yes.
I have a question about Ravnica.
What is your question about Ravnica?
Does the elf racism exist here too?
It doesn't have to if we don't want it to.
Not in my version of Ravnica, it does not exist in the sense of like the Thalmor, like with Skyrim, like the high elf stuff. It's more so guild based, where it's more guild superiority as opposed to inherent species being better than other.
Okay, so I don't have to worry. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, no. You don't have to worry about that one in this campaign.
As a claymore-eared individual, I also am was curious about that.
Yeah, no, y'all. The most you'd have to worry about being called is being called eggheads. Usually from is it?
But you're not a dirty necromancer, so she
Yeah.
probably thinks lesser of you.
Alrighty. Well, that was it for my question.
Gotcha.
I,
But
I did have a question along the similar veins.
what is your other question?
In the original lore for the Warforged, they're kind of despised by most people because they're seen as weapons and not as entities. Is that sort of kind of the same thing here, or are just robots and people don't care?
No, they're not despised. They're more so kind of disregarded as being servants in a sense, or serving. Like they don't see any difference between you and the other automatons that like is it would make. You know what I mean? Your
Okay, so
your wow, sorry.
Holy.
Wow, that was almost a really bad Freudian slip there, my lord.
Your personhood is it's not really it's more so like if you go I'm a thinking being, they're like okay, I guess you are, and then like immediately dismissed. You
so
know, like
basically it's the oh, that's cute, and then they go back to doing whatever they're doing.
pretty much, yeah.
I have a question for the robot man. Do you make noises when you move? And if so, what noises are they?
So, any detectable noises made by
Yes.
Cam whilst moving are the kinds of noises that you would expect to hear of that someone wearing plate armor.
Okay, so it's not.
No, because Warforged are basically a hybridization between plants and metal.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
it, yeah, but in the case of Cam is more mechanic than metal, but or mechanical than wood, but there is a wood core.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
he's not like an auto gnome,
Okay.
which is all robot.
Just was curious because keeping my immersion going. I want to make sure I get the right noises in my head
My
when I watch him run.
immersion.
Yeah, so basically, if you can hear noise from him at all, it would be the sound of plate armor clashing,
Yep,
essentially.
which is the normal just ding 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 of anybody that would wear that plate armor.
Musical, then I like it. Okay.
Um, but continuing on, um, you guys do come upon the drow, um, currently yelling with a Asimir that is also they're not standing on a thing of rubble, but they're like flying in the air. So her and the drow are on the same level. And the drow is currently yelling in the language that you all cannot understand. With the Asimir responding in kind. So they're having a shouting match in with words that you guys do not know.
Well, I'm gonna start walking directly. Is he on a wall or something? Like what is he?
He's on like a large pile of rubble, so he's like 20 feet up, but it's on like a thing of rubble, so you could like go up to him if you wanted to.
I would like to place maybe a hand on her shoulder to be like, hey, wait a minute, they're having a shouting match. Wait a minute.
Is the SMR like clearly Celestian?
They have so whereas most Asimir have like some sort of armor and stuff on them with different with like signets on it. This one specifically does have Selesnian
Mm-hmm.
brain fart, not visualization, has like Selesnian signatures on her armor.
Design.
Yeah, design on her armor. And they have, instead of the typical like divine holy white light of their eyes and such, this one has a bit of a green tint to it, kind of denoting their nature based not biome, their nature based plane.
Yes, but I'm going
Domain
to
is the word
I'm going to try to stop Professor from walking on up there real quick.
E- I'm not gonna stop.
I then either you will drag me or
Okay, are we doing contested checks?
I mean, yeah, if you're gonna actively try and stop Faye and she's gonna or they're gonna continue, then I would need you to make essentially a grapple check. So it would be your athletics versus Faye's acrobatics or athletics. Your choice on that one, Faye.
This is gonna go over well.
Wow, that did not go how I thought it would.
Nope.
Faye, as you continue to go, Alistair's grip gets surprisingly strong, and your foot kind of slips on a piece of the stray rubble as it kind of kicks out from under you. You're like, oh, whoa! You got to stop and stabilize yourself, and you're just held in there by the grip of Alistair. Actually, working as a
Nuts. It's gonna be funnier if I just fall. If I just fall backwards. There we go.
into his arm, into his loving arms.
Into his romantic arms, sure.
Oh my god.
Alistair,
These guys out here.
as you grip Faye's shoulder, she slips in the rubble because she was expecting to continue moving forward, and they go to counterbalance and end up just kicking more rubble in front of them, and then just fall back into your arms unexpectedly.
Yeah, I kind of try to cushion that fall is like going with the inertia of her falling back to catch her.
So I will specify for Pastel, Faye is a they, or is they them. That is their
They
pronouns.
does use they them. I'm thinking I'm gonna do they them she her just to make it simpler for everybody because I
That's-
know that my voice is very feminine.
That's up to
They-
you on that one.
I don't know. I will try, but just keep in mind I'm gonna forget.
No, you're good. I kept doing it too. That's why I try to course correct every time.
But which is why, like, when I did it the first time, I was like, "Oh, good, I get another chance to say this out loud," and then I could just say "Professor."
Alistair, as the professor kind of falls back into your arms unexpectedly.
I lean in and like let them have their little argument first before you walk into there. It's best for them to say what they're gonna say, and then we talk to them.
Ah, yes, unless another fight breaks out. And
When a
then
fight
we're
breaks out,
talking
we will deal with it. Let's not be the cause of one.
We should stop it now before it's escalates.
And what if it doesn't? What if
kind
we
of-
I hope
escalate it?
somebody else is just walking the fuck on up there.
Cam will continue to walk up the pile of rubble past everyone.
As Faye and Alistair have their little hug out session, Cam is just walking on up there. Cam, as you get like about 10 feet under them, or like your presence coming up the rubble thing is kind of noted by the drow, he'll stop shouting and then look down at you and shout in common. What business have you here?
Excuse me. We have been sent by an intermediary of multiple guilds to resolve any potential conflicts that may be occurring.
He seems kind of taken aback as you just flat out like kind of answer the question. He was expecting a more not dignitary response, but more so like the bruntness of your answer kind of verbally knocks him off guard. Well, she and I are having a disagreement about who and what should be taking care of this situation, and he'll kind of gesture back at the Asimir, kind of flippantly as he flicks his hand up. And the Asimir will answer, and I'm simply trying to state that everything goes back to Mother Nature as it should. And this one is continuing to demand that his flagrant, disgusting rituals continue to take place.
Would it not be common sense to allow the faction to honor their dead as they would see fit.
Yes, but their honoring takes up space and they put them in the ground and they just sit in the ground, whereas we put them to actual use and put them back into the nature, to the cycle of life and death, whereas they merely just cover them with dirt.
I see. So this is a conflict of fundamental ideology. Well, that being the case, rather than having a shouting match, should we not have a round table and discuss thoroughly the benefits of each argument?
Is that not what we've already done multiple times, Your Holiness? And the Aesir will come closer, speaking directly to Cam. We've had discussions before with other intermediaries, but we have not found a foolproof solution that satisfies both parties. Unless you have something else of note, I don't think that would help the situation much.
Alistair is going to
Okay.
let the professor out of their arms and stand on their own again.
The professor is
Uh,
going to hightail it up the pile of rubble as quickly as they can because this seems like not a situation a robot should try to defuse.
Alistair was
I,
almost right.
I'm
It almost diffused itself, and then I heard the fuse light.
so at this point, Cam will
I'll pause
reply
you.
with,
I'll pause you real quick, Cam. Alistair, you feel a tap on your shoulder, and as you turn, you see Blue, and he kind of whispers to you, "I've got some business to take care of. I'm gonna just leave this to you guys. I think you've got it under control." And
Yeah,
he'll
completely. Yes.
and he'll just take a couple steps and then take off in flight.
Meanwhile, like the inner Alistair is like screaming internally.
Literally. All right, keep going, Cam. I was gonna pause and have that happen.
yeah, no worries. So Cam will reply with a, well, I am unfamiliar with the intricacies of each method of laying one's own people to rest, so I will defer to the knowledge of another. Professor, please intervene.
I imagine she just walks up there and she's like, and Cam's like, "Professor, huh?"
Wait! I object!
Are you gonna? Is Alistair gonna yell that out?
No!
Let's add another voice to this.
Goodness me, I don't run very much anymore. Hi. The name is Professor Fay. Give me one moment. Little out of breath.
The Aesir will look over and go, "Oh, well, at least there's a professor. Maybe she has some knowledge that you've neglected to think of." And they'll look over at the drow. And they'll just glare back at the Asimir without.
I would like to know Sneef's opinion.
You want to know Sniff's opinion?
Yes.
Sniff is kind of just hiding behind or looking out from behind Cam's legs.
Oh, you went up there with him?
Yeah.
He's just holding on to his leg like an elevator ride. Wee.
Yo,
Yeah.
kind of off topic, but I was thinking about this earlier. How tall is Sniff?
I have the metrics for this written down. Let me see.
Isn't he like 4 feet tall?
Is
He is 0.4 meters.
3'5". 3'5".
Because Cam is literally twice your height.
Jesus.
So my idea is at some point I want to get a back shelf so Sniff can launch potions from the back shelf.
Yeah.
Yoda and Luke that shit. Yeah.
Yes.
It is a route you
I
can
like it.
definitely explore.
Alrighty.
All right,
Well,
Professor.
hello. Sorry about that.
As both the Drow
So,
and the Aesir kind of look to you, um, the Drow with a somewhat like kind of, he's kind of leering at you, but at the same time, he's like somewhat interested in what you're about to say. But the Aesir is giving you like genuine attention.
oh, where? Okay, so you wish to return the dead back to the cycle, yes?
Indeed,
And you wish to bury your dead, yes?
indeed, we do.
Well, I am not entirely versed on the intricacies of burial. However, I do believe that if you bury one in the ground, do you not return that body back to the cycle of nature?
The Aesir will answer. Well, that's what we believe is they're going into the ground to act as the fertilizer for the next of the cycle, for the seeds to take roots and sprout from them. Maybe mighty trees coming from them, even. But these ones simply break them down into mush and grime and do who knows what with them in the bowels of the city.
I was but it seems to me they are still returning them to a cycle. It may not be the same cycle, but if not that me as a lowly individual would have any standing or bearings in this conversation.
Now, Miss Asima, um, have you allowed them to collect their own dead?
No, we've the ones that are on our side we have kept on our side at the moment. And my name is Radiance.
It would
Pleasure,
be.
Radiance. Um, why don't you simply let them take their dead and you can take your dead?
Because we will not allow them to defile the ones that they call brethren, nor will we allow them to win to hold on to our dead and use them as they wish. We are at an impasse where we've agreed to let one another have their own bodies, but at this point are still arguing on the disposal of the bodies.
Well, now, Radiance. Terribly sorry, but what they do with their dead has no consequence to you, does it?
What has of personal consequence, no, but it does go in direct defilation of Mother Nature herself, and I simply cannot stand for it. It's an offshoot of the reason that this battle even happened, from my understanding.
Wait, you don't
Wait,
even
wait,
know
did
why this happened?
No, the previous commander was killed in the battle, and I was brought in as mediator. And then Veneer will chime in. Same thing happened with me.
wait did my sentence not go through?
What
It
did you
was it was heard but ignored.
What did you say?
It was about, like, I mean, it's nature is the cycle is just a little different, but it's still returning to nature. It's still becoming something new.
is simply uh Radiance will kind of look between the four of you, including Veneer. Have you all ever pledged yourself to something greater than you and promised to uphold and swore to put its values before yourself?
Yes, but there also needs to be the point where you need to be able to make your own decisions in this as well.
And it is my decision to give those, while they may be part of the Golgari, it is my decision to give them a burial better than their own kin would give them. I feel like that is a great
However,
honor.
do you believe that that is a burial that they would want?
Exactly. If you are going to give yourself wholeheartedly to your cause, why would you force someone else who does not follow your beliefs down the same path?
Is what I've sworn.
Do you think a history check would be useful here?
What are you trying to pull history on?
The history of the burial practices of both sides of the argument.
Uh, yeah, you can definitely go. You can roll a history check for it. Is there anything specific, or you just wanted like an overlay?
Just kind of an overlay, kind of searching the databanks for a minute to see if I can find an amicable resolution to the conflict.
Like,
Okay.
man, Alistair is really trying to appeal to that human side of this conversation, but it is just not
Cool.
going.
Damn. Alrighty. Um, Cam, going back in your databases, you pull up that the Golgari swarm, their burial practices of not just their own dead, but of other dead throughout the city, and other what would be classified as waste materials, is used to cycle and is essentially recycled into, it's broken down into like its base components, as in like the bodies are like melted into just like nothing,
Primordial soup.
pretty much like they're put into soup. Their bones are broken down into like ash essentially, or dust, and is then like used in other practices, both by them and then also given to other practices that would need them. Whereas the Selesnya Conclave very much gives back to nature more directly, where they would instead bury them with like they would either bury them directly beneath like the roots of trees or within like fertile soil, or they would use an agent that would hasten the um what is it called when a body breaks down? The word.
Decomposition.
Yeah, that would hasten the decomposition
Fuck,
process.
I forgot it was muted.
You're good. That would break down the decomposition process. That way their bodies can return to the earth faster. It's a bit of a overlap, but the main difference is that the use for Selesnya goes back to nature, whereas Golgari's use goes back to man, as it were, or gets used again, or their remains are still used by other parts of Ravnica, whereas Selesnya's use is with the nature side of it, with the plants and whatnot.
So traditionally speaking, one side returns everything directly to nature, and the other one feeds it through the machine a few times first.
Yeah, pretty much before everything has been gotten out of it. Like, you know, like you can use like human, like for alchemical practices or for arcane purposes, things like that. You still, a dead body still has a good couple of uses for the fantasy folk out there. You know what I mean? Whereas Selesnya is like, all right, that's a wrap. Go into the ground. Stay there.
So at this point, I can kind of start formulating my thoughts on an amicable solution here. I'm going to let everyone else speak a little more before I come to a answer that I believe to be satisfactory.
Okay.
Mm.
So, Miss Radiant, I understand your perspective. However, I truly believe that you should relinquish their departed and respect their departed's choices that they have made. And
I
in
mean,
turn, our drow friend here, whose name I did not catch if he even spoke it, should relinquish the Selesnyan dead and respect those individuals' choices.
Um,
look, this is no longer a thing of beliefs anymore. It's just doing the right thing. Like, this way we can all go home, be happy, you know, and
It
be
is
with the people that are still alive.
it is a tragedy that we lost these people. Let's not draw it out. Let's not make it worse.
Exactly. Thank you, Professor.
May I propose a solution to this particular conflict and maybe a resolution to any potential future conflicts?
What is the percentile that it may go wrong?
I have no idea.
Oh, speak then.
Well, I'm waiting for in character response.
yeah. Veneer will look at Cam. Uh, yeah, go ahead. But
For this particular conflict, would it not be wise to form a one time truce to allow each respective side to take their dead and do what they will with them? And for any potential conflicts between these two parties in the future, would it not be fair for each individual involved in said conflict to carry with them an article of declaration of how they wish for their remains to be disposed of should they perish?
Damn, that's pretty good.
I can't say I have any arguments with that one, especially considering it'd be a one-time thing. And Veneer will look over at Radiance. What say you? Radiance will look. She'll cock her head at Cam and look over at Veneer. I find that to be quite agreeable. It finishes this conflict and then stops any potential future conflicts from arising, assuming that the person has an article on them about how they would like their cells disposed of. But if I may offer a question, their automaton,
Go ahead.
if this person does not have an article saying how they would like to be disposed, what shall we do then?
Then the decision would be best left to next of kin or guildmaster, or any of their chain of command.
Or confidant if neither of those is applicable? Huh,
I mean, this would also boost like interconnectivity and stuff.
I
Yay.
find this to be agreeable if Veneer declares it so. And Veneer will look between Cam and the professor and back over at Radiance.
I'm here.
And Alistair also being there.
Thank you.
um, I agree. And he'll put his hand out, and Radiance will float closer and shake his hand as well. And then both of whom will turn and look to Professor Faye and Cam and hold out their hands as well.
Naturally, I will make any kind of gesture necessary to cement the deal. So we're
They're just
gonna go ahead
shaking.
and shake hands.
Yeah, I would say
Do
they're
they have
just.
do they have bloody hands at all?
No, their hands are both clean.
Okay. We're shaking the hand.
All right. They shake hands, and both Radiance and Veneer nod towards each other. Radiance takes off behind her, heading. You see that there are people moving and collecting bodies, and you see her going towards the others, whereas Veneer just turns around and shouts, "Gather up all of the Selesnian bodies and bring them to the border." And you see the Simic copying said order in the language you still cannot understand. Um, but you see the um, various people grabbing different bodies and beginning to drag them towards the border of the Selesnian um, and Golgari area. And slowly but surely, they begin to trade the bodies over one after another, kind of mimicking and doing like a trade for trade to make sure that it's equally kept as much as it can be at the very least.
You know, Alistair is crossing their arms because something that was said a while ago is on their mind. That like it was the fact that neither side seems to was like aware of what I mean of what was going on, right? Of what started what, right? Or am I misremembering?
No, the two of them that were there now were not present for the conflict. They were called in to
Okay.
kind of deal with the aftermath of it
Okay,
because the
because
commanders fell.
okay, because I was like, huh, wait a minute, plot is thickening. We are glazing over this. Why? Gears were turning.
No, this one is not as convoluted as it may seem.
Okay, okay. Man, I felt like so five brain there. Oh well.
Faye will return the handkerchief to in front of their nose, shifting uncomfortably.
I will put my hands in my pockets and whistle badly. Toward a
Kim
direction.
will descend the pile of rubble, casually mumbling under what could be called his breath.
Speef is under your breath. Does he hear it?
I don't know. If you just want
Sniff
to
is
hear
definitely in earshot.
robot logic always wins. It's a simple case of allocation of resources.
You guys descend the pile of rubble going past as they drag the bodies past you. Are you guys heading back to the Transguild Promenade?
I see no point
Faye
in looking
doesn't.
around.
Yeah, I guess.
What's up?
I was saying, are you guys heading back to the Transguild Promenade? And then you said Faye doesn't.
What did the others say?
If Alistair's paying,
I
Damn.
didn't hear.
eh?
I didn't hear what was said.
I saw no purpose in staying here. But if you have something you would like to say, go right ahead. It saves you some spending money.
No. Professor was just about to
try to hightail it out of there as quickly as possible because
Mhm.
all of the blood make hurt them uncomfortable. You guys have me
You
doing
did
it
it
now.
too! Yay, I'm not alone!
But you guys quickly move past the shifting of bodies as they trade them out between each other, and um, after a couple minutes, you make it past the ruins of the chateau-like area and back into the promenade, where you can either walk or you can get back on the shuttle service if you'd like. Your choice on that one.
I don't mind the shuttle service. The stench of death is really getting up my nose, and I don't like that.
The less time we spend here, the better.
Zip zoom. I'm going to ride the tranzoom.
Alrighty. As Alistair pays for the transit service again, you guys make your way out of District 4. As moving on past, you see once again everybody's shifting and moving the bodies, but you see out towards the red wastes what looks to be a couple other fights going on. Not as big and kind of not as large scale, but more so just conflicts arising in the ruins of the red wastes, and uh, it's kind of out of your range to be dealing with those, as that's a relatively common occurrence, as that's known as a place where both Rakdos and the Gruul kind of duke it out in that area. It's a kind of lawless space that even the Azorius don't really see the need, or don't really see the point in uh, maintaining, so they just kind of let it be. But you guys make it back to the first precinct, heading back to the meeting room where Romare was. Um, as you guys head into the familiar space, Romare is currently sitting at the table, writing in scrolls and has a couple tomes in front of them. But as you guys come in, they kind of perk up and say, "Huh, good to see you," and then kind of cock their head. You're missing one. Where did the owl go?
That is a very good question.
Allow me to answer that, Alistair, straightening his shirt again. He went home.
I see. Well,
Pardon?
Yes, he went home. Is that a problem? Am I a Faye? He says, very estranged, not sure if he's allowed to just call you by name.
No answer. Nothing. Just deadpan staring at Alistair right now.
Cam internally notes that every time Alistair seems to want to explain something matter of factly, so Alistair will straighten his shirt.
Indeed so.
I think he asked you a question, Professor.
Professor.
Uh, no, I
Uh,
suppose it's not an issue.
okay. Are you okay? Are you getting sick or something?
I'm perfectly fine.
Hmm, it's okay. It's a lot of dead bodies. I would be sick too. In fact, I kind of am. Ugh. Ugh.
Was there a lot of
Yes.
what seemed to be the problem? A bit of a truncated, description for my report and such, so I can submit it.
Do you want the long or the short version?
I did say truncated, so the short version.
Alistair doesn't know what that means.
He says in third person.
Yes, that is why I spoke like so.
Yes, indeed. They do not.
Yes, thank you. You're picking up on his mannerisms. I love it. So, the short version of it is, I loading thoughts.
It was no more of an issue than what to do with the bodies. They didn't
Childish behavior.
agree with each other's burial practices. That was it.
Mm. And you'll see they scribble down in there on a piece of parchment. Disagreements on practices. Solution was reached. Anything else?
Yes. Maybe you should start carrying a card for how you want to get buried.
I should. That's a threat.
Alistair
The
remains
proposed
silent.
solution.
Pardon me. Alrighty, we might have to do another contested because I'm gonna try to drag Alistair out of the damn room
Well,
before
that's
his
going.
mouth goes farther down his fucking throat.
How do I
His
implicate
foot
I'm gonna
myself?
go ahead and.
Alistair, are you gonna allow Faye to drag you out, or are you gonna fight that?
I feel like I've done something wrong, so maybe.
Alrighty.
I merely thought I was answering the question.
Hey, by the way, you should probably write to your loved ones. like,
that's not what I said.
Excuse me? Hey, you should
So
You should have a card you should have a card on it for how you would, I'd like to be, how you would like to be, like that didn't seem too off-putting for him.
As Faye drags Alistair out of the entryway. Or out of the room real quick.
So I guess Cam will take that as a signal to disclose the solution that ended up resolving everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I tried to do that and it didn't work, so.
I turn to face Ramirez directly and begin speaking.
Ramirez?
Ramirez!
That's what I have him down as my notes.
Did we all write down different names?
I wrote down Ramirez!
What's their actual name?
Romare.
What?
You know I'm not
Yeah.
Because I just wrote Ramirez Burger Town.
What the fuck?
I just had whatever Bungle had.
I have Romare written down now.
Oh, man.
Okay, so I turn to Romare and begin to speak. The proposed solution was for each individual participant in any conflict to carry a card denoting the way they wish their remains to be disposed of should they perish.
That makes a lot more sense than telling me to carry a card around about how I wish to be buried. Much more concise. And you see them writing down as you spoke what the proposed solution was. And they agreed to this with no issue.
There seemed to be no issue of any sort. We even shook hands.
Then I will go ahead and get this filed away to the proper chamber. But, bar any verbal slip-ups, I would like to say I think this was handled appropriately. I hesitate to say this was done well. As promised, everyone will receive 15.
Our performance metrics have been noted.
As promised, you will each receive 15 gold on top of the original 15 for your services and participating in this group.
Oh boy, stimulating statistics.
Um, at this point, I don't have anything else. Um, However, something that has been noted and it may come up later is that there have been some. How do you say? There have been some Rakdos performances that are getting out of hand, and that may be what I have you all investigate next time, just so that you are aware, and you can give this out to your other two companions and
I
the
I got
owl
it.
next.
I got it. I got it.
But as of right now, I have nothing else, so you're free to return to your guilds and your guild duties as they are required.
Duly noted. We will await your summons.
But Faye, I didn't do anything wrong. What is the problem?
The fucking voice changer, god damn it.
Whoa,
Oh, I need to get one now.
Dude, that's great.
Wait,
that was
what
good.
are you
I have a
doing?
recommendation.
Dude, that will get so much use.
Amazing.
Oh my god, that's recorded too. That's gonna show up so fucking funny on the VOD.
So yes, the professor is just lecturing him in the hallway.
Beating the shit out of him.
Not beating the shit out of him. Just lecturing.
He's having to sit there and hold buckets of water against the wall.
Well, Sarakum, Sniff, thank you for your services. And he'll gather the scrolls that he was using and the books and will hurtfully nod to you. Hurtfully? What the fuck? Curtly nod to you and will exit out of the room, passing by Faye and Alistor, and will give you guys a nod as well as he heads back off to the Azoria Senate to do his duties.
Well. What time is it?
At this point, it's about 10:30. It's getting closer to noon. The sun is it's a high up in the sky, but it's not quite high noon at the moment.
I'm feeling quite peckish.
We've lost someone from the group call.
Oh, we lost Cyril.
Oh no.
Scaly man is this.
Oh no. Hopefully they'll pop back up.
Also, while we have a moment, Pastel, your stream is like 40 minutes behind.
I am very, very well aware.
Jeez.
Yeah, fun stuff that happens when you have an issue with your connection to Discord or to Twitch. You send over a massive delay buffer of your video.
That is insane. I didn't even think the delay buffer could get that far.
Yeah, I discovered that by pure accident a while ago.
Alrighty.
Where did Cyril go?
Yeah, I don't know where Cyril went. That sucks. Maybe his internet crapped out on him.
Oh yeah, he's like totally offline on
Mhm.
Discord.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe his system failed him. It's weird though that he's still in Fancy Grounds though.
Well,
I said that in deep speech. God damn it.
I mean, I was just gonna have everybody go out to eat.
You were invited.
Oh.
You were invited to
Oh.
the group luncheon.
Oh,
Oh, he's back.
Yeah, we will sit and observe.
So,
Cyril.
Hey,
when you
What happened?
Hello?
I don't.
Cyril, you there?
You good, buddy?
Oh, hi.
What the fuck?
What?
It's
What?
Cyril's soundboard.
What?
Cyril, you good?
Can you hear us?
Give us a sign.
He can hear us.
I know, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, it'd be super funny to have that cat that says, well, hi on the soundboard. What the fuck?
whoa! What the?
Okay, so we're going out to eat.
Are we?
Alistair's paying. Alistair is paying.
Alistair's paying extra for that. Alrighty. Cam, Sniff, are y'all heading out?
I might
Nice.
as well
Sign.
observe the interactions.
Because you can't eat.
Sniff will be joining.
Alistair will be paying. So. Oh, I know this wonderful restaurant. They make the best rare steaks.
Hey, do you guys Hello?
Hello? We hear
Jesus
ya.
Oh,
Christ.
we hear you.
You good?
I
Hello.
don't know what happened to my when you that character gave me a nod, it ruined my Discord. So I tried to communicate with you guys through my soundboard. Don't you know I'm still here?
I thought you were just fucking with us with
No!
the soundboard.
Romero cast a curse on you for real.
Dude.
The nod of power.
Well, Alistair's paying for dinner.
I still said no. I will pay for the professor though. Ta-da.
You were quite the flirt.
I don't intend to be.
Then why not pay for the other?
Well, I see some use in you. I joined the Boros Legionnaire for answers to a question of mine that I've had for a very, very long time. You being a professor, maybe some science can shed some light on this question I have.
Is that question how to read? Because I'm still not convinced you can.
Reading is definitely a passion of mine. In fact, I enjoy reading novels. You know what, you don't need to know. The point of the matter is, I've been looking for a cure to my vampirism. Yes, I pronounced it funny for a reason, because I might have a speech impediment.
Might. He's not sure yet.
Do you think I'm gonna help you with that?
Well, maybe not right now, but in time. As perhaps we become, he takes a step a little closer. Closer.
God, that's
Slides
awful.
you a crisp 20 across the counter.
Yeah, it makes-
Gives you a gold piece down the bar.
I mean, I figured it would also be a very interesting uh, avenue for you to take your science. He tilts his head.
I don't do that kind of science, love. And besides, they're going to. Do you know how Alistair stepped forward?
Yeah.
They are going to kind of puff their chest out and try to, seem. How tall is Alistair?
He stands at a rousing 5'11".
Oh, this ain't gonna be hard then. Faye is 5'10".
Does that make me the tallest
Don't
in the
make me do
group?
this. Don't make me do this. Don't make me do it. I'll do it.
And is going to start stepping forward. Are you going to backpedal or not?
Well, all right then. You forced my hand. I'm left with no other options.
I'm small.
Alistair takes a deep breath, closes his eyes. Please.
Very
Furthermore, drop.
well.
Okay, good. I don't have to do it. I don't have to
Oh,
do it.
hell.
But okay. God.
But in turn,
yes.
God, I'm having a hard time fucking saying this because this is gonna be so fucking cringe.
Good. You don't think this is cringe for me? Jesus. I own it though, man. I love it.
All you have to do from now on is be a good lad and do as you're told.
Thank you. Man, thank you for rewording that in your head. And what would being a good lad entail?
I'm like dying over here, man.
This is fun. I like this. I'm having a good time. Are you guys having a good time?
Oh, I'm dying over here. Alistair's getting fucking leashed and it's great.
This is amazing. This is so good.
Well, darling, blood is better from the source.
Oh, is that all? Okay.
There'll be more, but for right now, that's all you need to worry about. Now, I'm hungry. Let us go eat.
As a good gesture, he will take your hand and pat it on the back because he thought about doing something and then he was starting to get a little embarrassed.
Oh, is he gonna kiss their hand?
Yeah. Because now he is starting to. He's like, wait a minute. There are other people here watching me do this. I feel funny. A pat will do. A pat will do.
They're going to grab him by the arm and kind of pull him pretty close.
Oh.
And whisper,
Oh no.
I'll let you know what I need when I need it. Until then, we keep this hush hush.
I'm not gonna lie, Miss Faye. This is the first time in a while I've not known what to say, and generally I just say whatever comes to mind. But right now, I agree.
Where are Sniff and Cam?
Watching with popcorn and just like, yeah, world
Far
star.
enough to not be noticed, but close enough to hear most of what just happened,
I'm assuming
Yep,
except for
yep.
the whispering.
except the whispering.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys, Cam and Sniff would be still in the general little meeting room, whereas you guys are out in the hallway a bit a ways from them, but the voices carry because it is a enclosed space.
Well, I wasn't planning
Cam,
on
do you
getting
have a
her.
lip reading algorithm?
I wasn't planning on doing this quite
Fortunately,
yet.
I'm
But
not blessed with such advanced technology as of yet, dear Sniff.
Oh no! Look, hun, if you want to sell volumes, you gotta put all your shit in chapter 1. That's how you get the hooks. What gets the clicks.
Do it.
For this cure, for this research, still like very close to him whispering.
Okay. He leans in turn. He's excited to hear this.
Will you betray those angels that you seem to trust so much?
Trust is a light word. Again, I was only pursuing them because who else would know the answer to my plight than angels? But I've yet to get in contact with any.
Well, you might be stupid, but I can see uses for you.
Sorry, he's kind of like doing that dead, stupid look into your eyes, like, uh-huh. I can't.
Would
This
Alistair
conversation this conversation is so much funnier because your PNG you have looks like you're fucking terrified.
would Alistair know where the school is?
No. Are you gonna make me be one of your students too? Is that the other stipulation? Is
No.
okay. I'm too old for school.
I'm trying to think of a meeting place that they would both know.
Well,
DM, help.
Um, he would have a somewhat familiar, like Alistair is vaguely familiar with most of the places in the 10th district. Plus he can very easily um so you would know that he is most familiar with precinct 1, and you could, what kind of meeting place are you looking for exactly? Like a restaurant, like a bar, like an
the
alleyway?
quiet one.
Which way are we looking?
Let's go with an alleyway. Alleyway would be best for this business.
So you
What?
can actually, one that you know isn't traveled much, because it's the back alley of a bar, so it doesn't get much traffic in the day, sorry. Is actually located right next to the restaurant that you were going to take everybody to. So the restaurant that you were going to take everyone to is neighbored by a bar that's open for most of the night, but then after that it's pretty dead, and to the side of that is an alleyway that doesn't see really any traffic once you go through it and then behind it.
This is information I will regurgitate from my mouth.
30 minutes after we sit down to eat, meet me in the alleyway.
Um. Okay. But Alistair is a little flustered.
Does Alistair wear an ascot? He seems like he would wear an ascot.
Um, he does now.
These are regular Fred Jones.
No one's.
No, I'm talking like one of the really frilly ones.
No.
Oh, he
It
does not wear one.
no, it is not frilly. It is very eloquent.
Ah, well, either way, the eloquent the eloquent mascot. The eloquent
I am the
mascot
elegant mascot. Thank you.
is getting
Wow.
fucking yoinked on right now.
Um,
Yoink, yoink.
the way this is going, it feels like I'm going to be doinked, and I don't like this.
You tell anybody, and there will be a bullet between your eyes.
And at least it'll be between two pretty eyes.
You really are stupid.
Oh.
They will let go of the ascot and kind of, do the push. Just kind of push him back a little bit.
I don't know who's in control of the conversation half the time, because it feels like at one point Alistair has you, and then the next minute, all of a sudden, wow, is this what it like? Is this what it like? I can't speak. Is this what it is like when two switches interact?
No, this is what happens when you don't know everything about a character.
Ah, so basically, yes.
Smart members of the audience probably know exactly what is happening right now. Those familiar with magic lore probably know exactly what is happening right now.
Am I going to get bad touched?
No.
Okay.
After pushing Alistair, they are going to casually start walking off, seemingly as airheaded and lost in thought as always, headed back towards the other two companions.
Cam and Sniff.
Yep.
Heading back down into the hallway, Cam and Sniff, how are you guys posted up in the room?
Damn.
I am becoming my own chair in that I have adopted a what could be construed as sitting pose without a chair.
Sniff is just sitting next to Cam.
The
kind of
other
like
couple
looking in awe.
In an actual chair.
In an actual chair, yeah.
Little feet swinging.
I would have thought it'd be funnier if Sneef was just trying to copy him. Like, my legs hurt.
Oh wait, yeah, that's cute.
Now I'm just sitting there with like one foot on my knee and the other foot firmly planted at the ground, like sitting in midair.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I was imagining
What
in my
an
head.
F. I love it. It seems very much like a good character.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's something that he does when he's thinking about everything that's happened over the last like 24 to 48 hours.
Downloading 22 terabytes of stupid.
Yes, he's currently formulating his own internal opinions of his now teammates.
Alrighty. Everybody. Anything else from the professor?
Nope. Just ready to go eat.
I was
until that 30 minutes after,
Yep.
I was kind of watching them walk off, because I just now realized the situation I've gotten myself into, and I am going to try. Alistair is going to really try rubbing those brain cells together to see if they can form a thought fire.
You gotta work really hard. Alrighty. As you guys exit the promenade and head out into Precinct 1, heading towards Plaza South, getting into this area's somewhat bustling streets, as you see mainly armored individuals, those with a couple books on them, some scrolls, very much the chatter of work happening all around you as you make your way across the cobblestone streets, with Professor Fay leading you all towards a restaurant lovingly titled the whinnying donkey,
This place is for asses.
As she kind of brings you guys inside and the intense scent of the food and drink served here hits your nostrils, and you find yourselves excited for the meal. But that is where we will pause here as it is getting late on my end. So, congratulations. We have all made it through our first session of Speef. What's it called again?
Legends of Regio Decima.
Somebody
Yeah.
record that and then just play it every time.
You
Make
have
it
the
Speef, make a
soundboard.
soundboard.
Bro,
Yeah,
you
Speef,
have the
make it-
soundboard.
Yeah, Speef, make the sound.
I'll have to play it up.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty funny.
Make the sound bite.
Um,
I'll add reverb to it and stuff.
hope
Yeah, like after
everybody-
session, we should totally have like a recording session just for that.
just for the soundbite. But I hope everybody had fun getting their characters set up, having a little bit of character interaction. Well, having a lot of character interaction, having a little bit of world interaction, solving your first quote unquote crises in Ravnica that will more than likely only grow from here. But that's where we'll end it, and we will see everybody else that tuned into the streams and tuned into the VOD. We will see you not next Monday, but the Monday after. So hope everybody has a good night and has fun in their next adventure.
That's called a fortnight.
Yep.
Fortnite.
Oh my god.